Welcome to HealTalk Tuesdays with Liza, where transformation begins as we evoke, embrace, and evolve. Greetings, and welcome to HealTalk Tuesdays with Liza. It's so good to be here with you, isn't it? As you see, sometimes everything in life happens by a choice. A minute here, a minute there, and what if I told you you've already been in hypnosis today? And you're going to wonder, what is she talking about? Yes, the moment when you were driving, the moment you logged in here, the moment you are taking your time and scrolling and you are on Facebook, on your social media, and then time flies. Did you know that hypnosis is nothing but a natural state that you go into, and there's absolutely no force upon you? That when you think about, am I being hypnotized? Am I in hypnosis? It's already bypassed. So it's not being distracted, it is being focused. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and its myth. And we're going to debunk some of the myths. So welcome to HealTalk Tuesdays. I'm Liza Boubari, your expert hypnotherapist. I've been working for over 25 years in this field of hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and I still get the same questions. Is it scary? Does hypnosis mean I'm going to fall asleep? And another it's like, will I lose control if I am in hypnosis? What if I don't remember anything? And the most profound one is one of my clients who came, it was just weeks ago, and she told me, as an engineer, I do not believe that I can be hypnotized. I have a strong mind. And I love people who come and say, I have a strong mind and I cannot be hypnotized. Here's why. Because hypnosis is not someone exuding power over you, forcing you into a state. As a matter of fact, you go in and out of this state of hypnotic state, which I call it a deep state of relaxation, focused, day in and day out. So, the moment she sat down, she was asking me and adamant about not going into hypnosis. And you know what? It was the most profound experience because she dropped into that state of relaxation, into that hypnotic state faster than most of my clients. Why? Engineers, people who are very focused, who are very precise and organized and directive, go into that state faster because they allow themselves to become focused with each and every sound, each and every voice, and it was so easy for her to tap into and drop in. I call it drop in. Someone may say they go in. Another person says they go under, which is actually, there is no under. There is no under any control, any force, any type of like going under anything. You don't lose control. As a matter of fact, you have more control than ever before. So, here's the thing. Let's clean this. Hypnosis is not a mind control. Definitely. And it's not sleep. It's between this sleep state and awakened state. It is a calm, what I call it, maybe tipsy, a cat nap. And do you know what a catnap is? You're watching TV and suddenly you drift into that state because you're either tired or watching the TV or listening to something takes you into that state of relaxation. And although you can hear everything that is happening, the sound of the birds, the sound of the TV, the sound of the kids or our family members, the sound of the music or even cars outside, that focused, precise moment when you become aware of everything. And then I bring you back to yourself, which is the awareness within you. Your heartbeat, your pulsation, the temperature in the palm of your hand, the state of relaxation, even the ticking of the clock in the background. And if you focus right here, right now, you may even hear the ticking of the clock. And if you breathe in and breathe out ever so gently, and close your eyes for just a second, and you recognize that although your eyes are closed, you still know where you are. If you are sitting in a chair, either in your office, in the comfort of your home, you're in the car. I hope you're not in the car listening to this, because as I take you into that state, you will recognize how wonderful it feels to be in this state of relaxation. So calm, so easy. And what really matters is because the habits you struggle with, the habits and behaviors you have, you can just shut it down for just a moment, only for just a moment, just for this moment only. And what if you take the saliva in your mouth and you just rotate your tongue and swallow your saliva and allow it to go down, and you become aware of your saliva. And you recognize this modality, this form. And then you gently open your eyes. And you can just become more aware and realize that sometimes everything in your life is nothing but a perception, because you were still sitting here. You're still listening to the sound of my voice. You're still connected to your body. And the only thing you did was close your eyes for just a moment, swallow your saliva. You probably did your tongue as a rotation, and that your palate, your tongue, your mouth, and swallowing the saliva told your body that yes, without recognizing, you took in oxygen and vitality that came through your nostrils, you swallowed through, you brought it all the way to your lungs, and from your lungs it went to your heart, and your heart pumped oxygenated blood throughout your body, and not once did you recognize or were conscious of it. And the only thing you knew was closing your eyes and swallowing your saliva. You see, day in, day out, we go in and out of hypnosis. When you are concentrating on a movie, on a music, perhaps even working, watching something on TV, working on your computer, and you zone in. You're reading, you're answering. Not once are you thinking about your body or the way you're breathing, unless something triggers it, unless something you see or hear or feel, and then you pay attention. Unless there is a pain somewhere in your body or strain on your neck, and then you touch your neck. Or if there's discomfort in your stomach, you place your hand on your tummy and you go like that. Because the entire time, everything is happening consciously and subconsciously. So I want you to know that just like the client who came in and said, I cannot be hypnotized. Hypnosis is not by force, and it's an internal process. Perhaps even listening to the sound of my voice, if you had closed your eyes, you would feel a sensation of relaxation. And if you are very much in tune with the sounds around you versus the things you see, you will realize that your nerves become more relaxed. That's right. So, recognizing that hypnosis works in your favor, and the more focused you are, the more precise you are, the faster you can embrace this modality of hypnosis. It's not for entertainment, it's for deep state of relaxation. As a matter of fact, you can even relax your shoulders and drop, that's right, all the heaviness and the weight. And if there's any discomfort in your body, just let it go. If anything you have experienced today, things you heard that you didn't like, either on the news, on social media, perhaps even a family member. And you can just truly let it go. Let all of it just bypass you. Anything you've been carrying, you can just let it go. So recognizing this and realize that no, I cannot put any suggestions within you while in hypnosis or in that altered state in order for you to do anything differently than it's against your belief system. Okay? That you will not be barking like a dog or quacking like a dog because this is not stage hypnosis. As a matter of fact, what happens is you bypass that analyzing, judging, criticizing part of your brain, which is the conscious mind, where everything you do is pure essence of control. And then you tap into this part of you that is your programming. What I call is just like a computer. Your brain is this. You open the file. If there is a habit, a behavior, or something that is off and you want to make a change, a fear, something that creates anxiety, understanding where this anxiety is coming. If there is a pain in your body and it's not a physical pain, even physical pain, that emotional pain that you have been carrying, and believe it or not, sometimes the weight, the heaviness of secrets that you've been holding on to, fears that without realizing, we go into that subconscious, and by opening that file, we sift through the subconscious mind. Thank you, Minas John. And we go in and recognizing that files and files and files from the day you were born, from the time that you were a little girl, all the messages that you incorporated. Yes, from your biggest mentors, the ones who formed you and formed your mindset, is your parents, and then your grandparents, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, even your school teachers, and the students you went with. Everything that your programming has been. So you see, I grew up in Iran. In my first 6 years, actually, yes, 9 years of my schooling was in a Catholic upbringing. in an all-girls school, in a Catholic school. So it was all about discipline. It was all about how to stand in line when you want to go to class. It was all about uniform. It's about doucement. It was in French, doucement. That means be quiet. So learning how discipline was and being in fear of the people, the principal, the nuns and everything. Yes, they were in with the nuns and all that, wearing the nuns, not like here in America, driving and being in casual. So there was a hierarchy of who was in control. And not necessarily that we're not in control, because students, we would always try to do things that was disobedience, just tantrums, and see if we can break the rules. But breaking the rules had consequences. And believe it or not, your conditioning, your upbringing, and doesn't matter where your upbringing was, it's realizing that home, school, being bullied. Yes, we were bullied. I was spanked every time I was disobedient, believe it or not. Well, I don't have a ruler, but a ruler was being placed. And I'm not saying right or wrong, but we learned what is right, what is wrong, according to them. Now that programming, bring it to your home. The things you hear, the things you see, the things as a little child, we get to hear and understand that as this is the norm. And then you come outside of the box of your family home, which when I work with clients who have weight issues, anxiety, fears, phobia, or even eating issues, and how they eat, and what they can't eat, cannot eat. They want to control their body because I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that because it will happen, or the body will do something. It is not the body doing it. It is the body's conditioning that certain things, perhaps how you sat in the kitchen, what food was like, if food was nourishing, or there was arguments in the kitchen over food. Sometimes one of my clients, as a matter of fact, the engineer, was coming from a family of seven siblings. God bless. And they would fight over food because they came from a home that was not so well off. So food was scarce. Throughout the years, she made a point that food will always be lavish and her children will have everything that they want. So she made her discipline to be so tight with food and her body and everything because she was overweight as a child, not to have an ounce of fat on her, to have this regime and restriction, right? So strict with herself, with her body. And yet, just the opposite, giving her children everything. And she was wondering why 3 of my kids are so overweight and I can't make them stop. So it's recognizing what was your pattern. And she said, it has nothing to do with my pattern. It's my children. No, everything is about you. Everything, how you treat your body, how you treat yourself, your home, your food, your environment, and want to control them. So 2 of her kids overweight, 1 is anorexic. 16 years old, anorexic, looking at her mom and wanting to control, and the others are not. So there's this disconnect within herself with food, with home, and everything was coming down to the base. The reason I went to my schooling was because my school and my home was very similar. So there was not much of a difference. So it was all the programming was discipline, and food was nourishing, food was nurturing, food was plenty food. It was about family. It was grandma. It was love. But it was not about scarcity. Now, understanding that, turning it into something, once we started working, as I said, she went into hypnosis so deeply and profoundly. So recognizing, and it was about her. I close my eyes. It's as if I am with her at that very moment. And I do this with my clients. You see, working through this, I become part of you. I am not exuding power. I am not in hypnosis with you, but I am guiding you as if I can see what you see because you're sharing the information with me. And the truth is always within you. It's people who say, my mind is so sharp and everything, and that's where you are sharp, where you can pay attention. As a matter of fact, she was in hypnosis for over 50 minutes, almost an hour. It's as if she could see everything. And when she came to full conscious awareness, right here, right now, sitting in the recliner, she never went anywhere. It was her mind that was going in and out of that hypnotic state. And she could see, she could feel, she could hear. The beginning, the pattern. And when she came to full conscious awareness, she said, it's amazing that at one point I could hear you, and yet I was so relaxed, and I was just as if I was in the living room with my mom. And when I was asking what you see, and she was describing everything between her and her siblings. You see? We always see what we see, hear what we hear, feel what we feel. And all I do is help you recognize by peeling away certain patterns and knowing your life, your experiences. There is nothing that controls you from there. And you're in total control at all times. By letting go and trusting yourself, trusting within, trusting your own gifts and intuition, and yes, your focused attention, what we do is we evoke the history. It's your past experiences. You're not there. You're just watching like a movie. So that you can embrace the reality right here, right now, and acknowledge patterns, behaviors, and the things that have happened or you're holding on to, what you're holding on to, secrets, experiences, traumatic experiences that have affected you. Okay. Fine. Now what? What about it? You have a choice what you can do. You can either hold on to it or you can say, I get it. Now I see where it stems from. Now I see where it comes from. And it's not the conscious mind, it is the subconscious. It is that, yes, we call it the inner child, but I love to call it the inner self. Yes. Even right here, right now, just recognizing some of the patterns within you, growing up, And within minutes, you can realize the direction that you're going. You can remember your house. You can remember the house you grew up. You can even remember, I bet you, the neighborhood. Perhaps the car your parents had, sitting in the back of the car. If somebody even turned on the radio. I had a client that the moment I said, do you remember the car? She's like, oh my God, I remember the car. And my siblings, we would sit in the back of the car and the radio would go on and my mom would start singing and we wanted to sing something. She was so in there. So recognizing. Another client of mine that they had an auto accident, remembering the sounds of everything, and that had impacted her. So if there was an emotional pain, we released the pain because of what happened when she was probably, I believe she was 7 or 8 years old. So everything in your life, as we evoke understanding, it's not happening now. But, did you hear that? It was my tummy growling. And you know what happens? Believe it or not, the moment you become one with reality, the moment you become one with your own truth, all my clients say it, my stomach never growls. I'm not hungry. And then the stomach growls. You know why? The truth, which is your core, your intuition, your core self, speaks and growls. And it just happened. You know, I'm no different than my clients. All transformations are also self-transformation. I walk the walk with you. I go through the transformation with you. And when that transformation of evoking what was, embracing what is reality right here, right now, and when you come to evolve and you say, wow, I feel so much lighter, so much better. I feel more at peace. And I thought it would be so draining, and yet it's so light. It is. It's an amazing work, realizing that you no longer need to hold on to things that pull you down, that hurt you and give you anxiety and that pain. Isn't it time for you to release it? Because you can. That's what I'm here for. And that's the work I do. I'm Liza Boubari. I've been doing this work for 25 years. Because from the day that I healed myself and I went through this beautiful work I call hypnotherapy, doing this profound work in deeper state of not cognitive therapy, talk therapy, but deeper work to tap within. You know, that's my $1 million work. And if there is anything I can be of help to you or someone you know who is suffering, either through emotional pain, physical pain, mental anguish, fears, phobias that has disabled them from moving forward, relationships that we hold on or we stay in thinking we can't move forward without it because we love. Understanding your first love is to you. We're always protected. And I help you ground yourself. And remember, you're always, always protected in His white light. And for that, I want to say thank you for tuning in week by week. And for those of you who message me and say thank you for the message, I want you to know that all the healing is self-healing. I'm just a guide to help you get there faster, because that's how we heal within. And you deserve it, because you do matter. One word. Remember that when you say, I am, the words you continue with matter the most. So be cognizant of what you say after that. I hope today's message was beneficial to you. And if it was, please like, share, and go to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram and on YouTube. Until next week, God bless you, and may the universal light surround you always.